you start a podcast? Roll the intro.
Joe Rogan podcast all day, all day.
Welcome. My name is Jack. I'm sitting here with Reece, aka V.BLVQ. And this is the very first episode of Before the Money, the podcast where we get down in the depths, the nitty gritty of all the stuff that happens with high performers before they're paid for it. So this is a success-driven podcast and we're here to have a fucking good time. Awesome. So thank you so much for coming in, brother.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Absolute pleasure. Now, you are battling it out because you are just recently out of surgery.
Mm-hmm.
So massive appreciation for you coming out, injury and all.
Look, you can't let it slow me down too much. I've had my 3 days on the couch. Got to return to life because it doesn't wait for you.
Yeah, exactly right. That's exactly right. So why don't you introduce yourself, what you're about, who you are, stuff like that.
Yeah, okay. My name is Reece. I release music under the name V.BLVQ. I've been making music for about 7 years now. Definitely taking it a lot more serious in the last 6 or so months. I grew up on the Gold Coast, just around the corner, lived just around the corner. We're here in the studio that I'm based out of as well, so...
And has music something that you've always wanted to go into, or is it a newfound dream?
Well, I've always loved music. I've always had a really, really deep, passionate love for it. As long as I can remember, I was listening to music. Like when I was in school, I used to get up, headphones on, do everything in the morning, getting ready for school, headphones on, get in the car, headphones still on, get to school, take it off when you had to. Earphone up the sleeve in class, doing those ones. Straight after, through lunch, I was with my friends when one earphone in. If I was out on the weekends, always had an earphone in. But I never saw myself as somebody who would make music. I just loved it, just loved listening to it. And then the real catalyst for me starting to make it was when I was 17, 18, I was dating a girl who was going to be, Mrs. Forever, as they are when you're that young.
Yeah, always.
And it didn't quite go the way that I wanted it to go. And so I was quite cut up. I had girlfriends and been, heartbroken before, but this one hit home. Mm-hmm. And she kind of introduced me to like a slower style of music. The album was actually Party Next Door. I can't remember the name of the album now. Mm-hmm. The one that has Sex on the Beach on it and stuff.
Iconic, yeah.
Yeah. And just also finding weed at the same time too. So I kind of started smoking with her. And those two together kind of opened me up to a different style of music, but also just the idea that maybe I could do it myself. And then I kind of started writing things out as a way to, I guess, express those feelings of that heartbreak. Mm-hmm. And that's where it started.
Wow. Yeah. So writing that first song, was it something you set out to finish a song, or was it a lyric that just came to your mind and then it went from there? Or
yeah, it was kind of just, I just pulled a notebook out and started writing things. Mm-hmm. And it was weird. I think it's all those years building up listening to music that I didn't, I wasn't a lyrical god at that point, but I definitely realized that I could do it pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. I was like, hang on, I don't find this as hard as I thought it was going to be. So I feel like it maybe came a bit natural, but that is because I spent so much time previously listening to music. I think, I just sonically had the kind of rhythm for it as well. And I just started writing out. It was a bit aggressive, stating some things I wanted to do.
Very emotional.
Yeah, man. 17-year-old just had his heart broken, just found marijuana, so the feelings are running very red hot.
Yeah.
And we started jotting it down, and that's where it started.
So why do you think, weed helped in that sense?
So I just think that weed, especially when you start to, it just really puts your emotions into perspective in a different way that you've never thought about before. So, people get paranoid when they're on it, or people feel real good, but that's just like, it amplifies whatever you're feeling. So going through those strong emotions and being fresh into smoking, they were just so amplified. I felt so down about it, but also felt so high about other aspects of it, and just so much emotion in the one place. And that's what I found, especially at the start, marijuana was doing for me. It was just like really letting me into those feelings and digging deep and unpacking what was actually there.
Yeah. And how long was it until you kind of started recording your music and trying to become known for it?
So I would say maybe a couple of months before I bought my first mic. Obviously, the plan is to release it. I didn't know how or where to. So after, looking up where you do, SoundCloud was the place. So I started putting stuff on SoundCloud, and I've still got those tracks that I put up, but you listen to them and you're kind of like, oh, some bits just don't flow very nicely and they stick. There were some real good bits in there too. I still listen to some of those tracks today.
For inspiration.
And I'm like, fuck, man, that was a fucking deep lyric right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so maybe a couple of months I bought my first mic, started doing that, but I had no idea how to like record things. It was all done in my bedroom, sounded like shit.
GarageBand warrior.
Yeah, man.
For sure.
GarageBand, 100% bootlegging everything that I know.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, so, and then I made like a whole mixtape, called it Oreo. Yeah, that's what my friends were all calling me. Because growing up here, there's not too many black people running around. So I was like black on the outside, white on the inside, growing up around all these white people. But so the first mixtape was called Oreo, and it was very much about that too. Just like, oh, look, just like you guys expected, I'm rapping because I'm the black dude. I got to do it. And yeah, I would say, once I made that mixtape and I realized that it sounded like shit and it was never going to get anywhere, that's when I put a lot more time into learning how to actually run programs and try and make it sound better after the fact. Because like, you can be one of the best lyricists or have the best voice, but if you can't capture that, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
So after I did that, I made 3 tracks that when I put them out to the small circle, the response was really different. It was like, wow, this is actually a song. This sounds quite good. They still sounded like shit, but it sounded like a lot better shit than what I had done before. And it kind of caught people off guard. And that's what kind of gave me the confidence that, hey, hang on, maybe I can do this. So then from there, I just started homing in on it, just trying to get better at what I could with the resources that I had. Went and bought a little like storage container, like little plastic tub one.
Yeah.
Lined the inside of it with acoustic foam to put the mic in there, like make a little makeshift booth. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's some real grassroots shit.
Ghetto shit, bro. Ghetto shit.
Fucking love it.
Yeah, man. And then so I was doing it like that for a while, and then I moved around quite a bit, so I had to change up my setup quite a few times. One of the better setups I say I had was I was living with a girlfriend at the time, and they had like a little Harry Potter closet under their stairs, which there was nothing in there. They weren't doing anything, and her mum was like, "Yeah, go do what you want." So I went and got more acoustic foam, put it all up in the middle, all up under the stairs, and made myself a little booth in there. And then all the cables were like under the door out into the garage to kind of separate, so you don't get too much interference and shit. And I made some pretty good stuff there. Like, I wasn't too bad at bootlegging these programs at this point, but unless you go and study it, there's a level that you get to. Well, at least I felt. I just felt like I couldn't get further doing it that way. And then, studio time can be quite expensive, and I was, still trash with money, like I always will be. But like, my heart wasn't in it enough to properly invest in myself doing it. So it was kind of like an off hobby for a while. I was putting it out, But I wasn't really pushing it. I was just putting it out to like my small circle. And I did that for probably a couple of years, faking it till you make it. But then it just got to the point where I was working a 9 to 5 job that I wasn't happy in. This is quite later in life. So probably like a year ago, I was just like not happy with my work situation and I wanted an out, but I didn't go through uni. I tried to and just didn't work out for me. I didn't like the style of learning. So I needed something else, like I want to be able to go and do cool stuff in my life. I don't want to be working like a dead end job the whole time. So I was like, what is my out? And the music was the one thing that has always been there that I had a gift in. And I knuckled down and I decided, okay, now I'm going to invest in myself. I'm actually going to put in the effort, learn how to promote it properly. And as soon as I did, the results started coming back. So, the start of this year, we dropped Ferris Bueller with proper promotion, proper backing behind it. And, it went all the way onto Triple J like really quickly.
Straight away, yeah.
And that was all the advice I needed, all the encouragement that I needed to keep going. Because before, like last year, when we went into lockdown, I was pretty disheartened because, a lot of people in the creative space were like, this is the blessing. Like we can all now don't have to worry about working. You can just sit down and smash out your craft and get so good at your craft. So when we went into lockdown, I tried, but I didn't have any money. I couldn't get into a studio. Everything was closed. So I was back to the same bedroom that I started making music in. I'd gone full
back
circle,
under the
come
stairs.
all the way back. Yeah, but even lower than that, like back into holding the doona over my fucking head. And you can hear it, man. The tracks are still on SoundCloud. You can hear it just sounds so bad. And I was watching all these other people in my space, like nutting it out and making real nice music in this time of lockdown, but I was just like paranoid as fuck, man. Like I don't do well being locked down like that. I do like to be inside of my own body, but when I have no choice, it just like wasn't a good situation for me. So I was so disheartened by that like this time last year, I was almost conforming to the idea of like not making music anymore, which is crazy to think like where I am now to a year ago, I was like pretty ready to give up.
So what was it that like got you to that point? Because leading up to that, you realized you were very talented at it. You were getting great feedback, although you didn't have like kind of the professional resources at that time. You were building momentum. So what was it about that situation that actually made you kind of question the journey that you were on?
I think a lot of it is, so as much as it sucks in this industry, like people don't really want to like get on board with your hype train unless they see other people getting on board with the hype train. And when you don't have that professional quality, it's very hard to get new people to get on board with you. So I had like a close-knit group of people that were always listening to anything I put out, regardless of how good or bad it was. But to get beyond that, to get somebody new to listen to it, to get somebody to share it, like Ferris Bueller was the first one of my tracks that people like actively started sharing. And that it's a banger, but it also comes down to the professional quality that it was released at. Because I released Ferris Bueller onto an Instagram page more than a year ago to nothing. Same song, sounds the same apart from the quality difference, but just did not gain any kind of traction because people straight away hear that it's not professional and they put it to the side.
Yeah.
So I was stuck in this like mid zone of like, working a not very good job, so you have limited funds anyway. Got to support my smoking addiction at that time as well. Choices have to be made, and I was making the wrong choices. I wasn't putting the money in the right places. And then when I did start putting it in the right places, and shout out to Scott as well, has given me a really, really good resource in this studio at a much better rate than you pay anywhere else.
Yeah.
And we get that top level quality out, so it just made it accessible to me, whereas like there's other studios around And because it's a very like specialist industry, they can charge whatever they want, and they do. And they charge you
Goes
like
by their name,
weeks worth of wages for one track. And it's just like, how are you meant to move forward doing that? Especially in this day and age, unless you have like a really big team behind you that's like pushing and promoting you, the way that you kind of have to release music to get out right now is you need to keep them coming, keep banging them out. So if I'm paying like, an arm and a leg and my fucking kidney per track, I've only got, 2 kidneys, bro.
You run out of resources pretty quickly.
Man.
Yeah. Before you started kind of professionally recording, obviously there had to be like this ticker moment when you're, I'm going to stop fucking around now. I'm either going to do this or I'm not going to do this. So what was that moment for you?
It was Scott opening the studio. It just so close to home and so accessible. And we know a lot of the same people, and I'd been talking with them and they were telling me how good that he was. And the fact that he was so close, and we came in and instantly kind of started building a relationship. And that's kind of what pulled me back in. I was like, okay, now I've got a space. Now I've got the quality. I just got to bring the tracks. And I did. And it's paying off, man. It's paying off.
Yeah. And so you rehearse your tracks pretty regimentally before you hop in the studio, don't you? So when you get in there, it's pretty kind of like straightforward in the sense like you lay it down and, you make adjustments over a period of time. So was you nervous the first time you got into the professional studio? So nervous. And you can kind of hear that. Like the first track that we made in here, I didn't even put out. We kind of scrapped it. Yeah. It was kind of just to get in here and get something out. And I still feel like even that every time I come into the studio, I feel like I'm getting better. And I am getting better every time, but it's also me opening up more, feeling more and more comfortable around the space, around Scott. And it's bringing out better work out of me, even to the one that, dropping Lil Thicky drops 31st of this month. Make sure you get on that pre-save. We're trying to get on these good playlists. Hit up the pre-save. V.BLVQ on Instagram. It's in the bio. Make sure you pre-save it. I've heard it. Shit. Let's go. It's a absolute fucking banger. So even in that track coming out, it is the most I've opened up, and the next one will be even more, and the next one will be even more. So through the course of this year, we're dropping one song per month this year, and they're just going to get better and better and better and better as we go, just because I'm getting more and more comfortable with the space, more and more comfortable with the equipment, the sound. We're kind of developing the sound that we have together as an artist and producer. You got to kind of figure out the way that works, and we're figuring it out. And it's been a really fun process and building a good relationship through it as well. So, we're getting good music and good friends out of it. Exactly. Well, we're all very, very glad that you're making this music because it is in every single one of my playlists. Honestly, I'm so excited for more music to come out from you. But so when you start to kind of legitimize, you're now working in like a professional studio. Obviously, you've got songs written from, years and years and years of kind of practicing in your bedroom. So what else did you change? As you started to become like more of a professional sound, what else did you change like about your persona, your brand, like socials, like, because now we live in a world where the internet is essentially the real world, and so like it's never ending, the amount of content. Just to keep up with it all is a fucking full-time job in itself. So to kind of be making music, working a full-time job, and then kind of trying to build up a personal brand as well, what changed in your mentality and strategy? Activity is a big part of it. So a lot of people gravitate towards people that they feel are doing a lot all the time. So whether that was, doing a lot of work for free, a lot of photo shoots, a lot of collaborations and stuff, all for free, just to have something to work on. People like to see people working together too. And then just documenting all of that, making sure that people could see exactly what I'm doing. If I'm at a photo shoot, taking stories. There's a lot of photo shoots, but whatever you're doing, documenting that and putting it out. Consistency is huge. I started paying a little bit more attention to stats, but not so much stats as in like stat watching, as in like watching every play that comes through or every like, but just looking at growth and what
putting more of a attention on what is working and what's not, and taking notes of what's good and what's not, and what people are engaging with. Learning how the platforms work as well is a massive one, so you know what you're kind of aiming for. So I guess it was just the thing that really changed for me was the approach to learning and figuring out, okay, I've decided I'm going to do this. How can I best do this now with the resources that you have? Because, you can't do everything straight away. So just trying to stay consistent. It's kind of hard. Like I personally, myself, social media, I'm getting a lot better at it. But I found whenever I was really consistent on social media, I was getting the good side of it, as in like the growth in all my profiles. But I was also getting the negative side of it, as in spending too much time on social media, spending too much time scrolling. So then I would then drop right off for a while, like be a week or a couple of days where I don't post anything at all. So trying to be a little bit more prepared and having stuff ready to go in those times where I didn't feel like posting as much, just having content waiting to go.
But so you really started focusing very heavily on your personal brand and stuff like that.
Yeah. And I didn't really change too much. It's just putting more of it out and being yourself too. Like, because I've been doing this for a while, there were times that I was being more of a persona, and it does get results, but it's not sustainable. And so not worrying too much about what people think too, not thinking too much about what you're putting out as well. Just being yourself, man. Like, you're not going to be different. There's no point in showing somebody something that you're not, because you're not that. They're going to meet you and they're going to be like, hang on, you're not that. So just being myself more and allowing more of myself out onto these platforms to show, because that's what people really connect with. At the end of the day, that's what people actually want. It's hard to get more eyes on you, but when you do have more eyes on you, they stay on you when you're being authentic. So
yeah, of course. And like it takes practice to kind of really open up and be yourself on social media. Like we were just saying before we came on air, like up until probably this time last year, I was rubbish at even talking to the camera and doing selfies and stuff like that. I remember I used to sit there, probably do like 8 or 10 takes just doing like a talking story, which is, very demoralizing. And then you finally get it out there and you second guess yourself. But now it's just kind of like second nature,
Yeah.
And like at the time you feel like everyone's looking at you and judging and stuff like that. But really, like, that's the kind of content that people engage with most. We forget that social media at the heart is a social media, people to people, so the more you can kind of open up and show the world who you really are, the faster they can connect with you.
I feel like some people have got like a formula down a lot better where their accounts still grow and they can show limited sides of themselves. But I feel like for like your average person, your normal person, showing those sides, like those moments where you take a video and you're like, there's a cringy look, or like you say something dumb, you also got to think, like, you look at that compared to an account that's not growing, they're not doing that. Even though it's cringy, even though you might hate it, the people who are consuming it aren't. And then if you start having like a bit more of a, I guess, like a position that you're taking on certain stances, or in my case, music that I make, when I get feedback from people saying that my music's changed their day, or like have like a call to action and somebody does it, it just justifies. That's your camera on. Give him the old reset.
Cruising through it, brother. It sounds amazing.
Yeah, no, this is gonna be good. There's gonna be a lot to use.
Yeah, fucking no. The boys are back on.
Yeah, sweet.
Give it some.
Boom. Yeah. When you have those like calls to action or whatever, and you see people responding to it, then it makes all those cringy moments worth it, because you're like, yeah, I had that cringy moment, but like these people are now consuming my content and listening to what I'm saying and now taking it in as well.
Yeah. So
it all comes together full circle in the end.
So when Ferris dropped, what was your expectations?
So because it was the first track that I promoted quite a bit more, I did expect for it to be shared a little bit because of the quality, very catchy. I did expect it to be my biggest song to date. And it was, but it was way bigger than I thought it was going to be. So my expectation was, I don't really know. I don't really put things out with too much of an expectation of what it's going to do because you just never know.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because it was the first of like a new style of release too. New style of music that I hadn't really touched on in a little bit either. So you just don't know how that's going to be accepted by everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I did think that it would be the biggest one though, just because of the catchiness and it's a feel good song. It's very easy to listen to.
It gets stuck in your head. It's infectious, honestly. Anyone, Ferris Bueller, make sure you check it out. You will love it. It's a perfect Sunday afternoon, Monday morning, whenever the fuck you want to listen to it. It's fucking very, very catchy tune. So I know the story of how you promoted it, but for everyone listening, how did you kind of come up with the idea? What was the idea and how did you kind of go about promoting that song?
So I went to YouTube and I searched ways to promote music.
God bless YouTube.
Yeah,
and Google.
That's the way you get anything done nowadays. So I went onto YouTube and watched a bunch of videos and I just chose like a pretty basic style because it was the first one. And again, I had no money, so I didn't actually have much to put behind it. So the idea was to have 10 photos, counting down whether that's in the actual comment, like the actual caption, counting down. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, or having something in the photo that was counting down. So some people use like a piece of paper or a board and every photo it's counting down. So people get that momentum of like, okay, something's going to happen when it gets down to 0. And then so I didn't say what it was going to be. I just put it out in the caption. It was like post 10 of 10. And then it was a picture. I went and found, because the song's inspired by Ferris Bueller, obviously. I went and found a bunch of stills from the movie that I like, different scenes that I like.
What is the movie? For anyone who doesn't know what Ferris Bueller is, what is it?
So Ferris Bueller's Day Off is an old classic, and it is about Ferris Bueller, and he is wagging another day of school. So in the day that you get the movie, it's his 9th day that he's wagged in the year. So wagged as in bunking off, not going to school. And the movie follows his elaborate scheme in pulling the wool over everybody's eyes, his parents, some of his friends, and his school principal. And then him and his friends proceed to go on a wild day off. They take his friend's dad's very rare car. They go to Chicago. They go to a baseball game. They go just like hooning around. And then through the course of the day, his principal, who, because it's his 9th day off, is onto him the whole time. So his principal is, through the course of the movie, trying to track him down and expose him that he's wagging another day of school. And so the inspiration that I drew from that movie is work. I don't want to go to work. I'm definitely someone who's wagged a lot of days off work. A lot of wild excuses, a lot of bullshit. And I've got myself off a lot of days of work before. And so it resonated with me in that sense. And
so like
that's what the movie is.
Yeah. And your promotion strategy. So you've got like the 10 images counting down. Now, so those images were scenes that you kind of recreated from the movie.
Yeah.
And so like, how did you find like momentum built as you were kind of moving it down? Were you getting like people reaching out to you kind of saying, what's this about? Or
not initially. So at the start, I think everyone just thought I was fucking crazy. Like putting up all these pictures of Ferris Bueller and then my own recreation of them. People were like, what the fuck is going on here? So a lot of people didn't say anything to start with. And then I started doing a lot more of posts that people could engage with. So like polls and stuff on Instagram, or like, what do you think is coming? To the point that I eventually, I think it was like maybe like 3 or 4 posts in, I let it out that it was going to be a track. And so then people kind of knew what they were waiting for. And then, so we didn't just do the 10 before as well. We actually did 10 for after as well. So then, we dropped the first 10 on the days up to release the track, and then I was pretty much just all over my socials, like, go check it out, getting people to go there. And then for the next 10 days, I also continued to release 10 more photos. And we were definitely getting a lot more engagement on the posts closer to release. And then the release happened and people actually got the song in their hands. And then that's kind of when things just took off, because people were just sharing it. And like, I was getting people following me, sharing it straight away. And this is something that I wasn't used to at all. Like, in my experience leading up to making music, like it was so hard to get even friends to share the tracks.
Mm-hmm.
And then to have random people I didn't know, follow me, share it straight away, sharing it, like people playing it on Twitch streams and stuff. And just like, it just kept passing hands. And I kept getting like messages like, oh, I showed it to so-and-so and so-and-so, and it's been on repeat. That moment, then we did the photo shoot for Anarchy.
Mm-hmm.
And Soraya and Angus were there, and then you played it, and they were like jamming out, and then someone was like, amazing. "Oh, you know that's his song," and they were just like fucking taken aback. They're like, "What the fuck?" Yeah. So stuff like that, man, it just kept passing hands by itself, and that's what you want. That's how shit spreads. And then I uploaded it to Triple J on Earth, which I'd never uploaded a song to on Earth, and like realistically, I should have been doing that, but I don't think it would have made a difference at that point. I think it was good that I led with Ferris.
Yeah.
So I uploaded it to Unearthed, and if you're unfamiliar with how Unearthed works, it's like a portal for up-and-coming artists. You can't be signed to a label to upload to Unearthed, so you have to be independent. Mm-hmm. You upload it to them, and it goes through like a curation process. So they have a team that listen, and then they narrow it down, and they release. They add about 10 songs per week or fortnight to their Unearthed radio station. Mm-hmm. And so I put it up onto Unearthed, and it takes a couple of weeks for it to go through that process. So it was actually a couple of weeks after, I think it was maybe like a week and a half after I'd put Ferris out, that it actually went through that process, and it went straight on to Unearthed radio. So for all the songs that get uploaded in a day, it's crazy that it went straight onto there, which is the ideal situation. That's what you want, but it's kind of hard to do that. Mm-hmm. But just the song bangs, so it did.
It's super catchy. Yeah.
The person who the crazy thing about it was the person who kind of pushed it onto Unearthed Radio is the executive producer, Tommy Faith.
Yeah.
And so the way that I found out was he followed me on Instagram, and then he had a story which was a big picture of the Ferris Bueller album cover and a blog that he'd written on his website.
Wow.
And I didn't know who he was. So I was like, oh, this is really cool. Can I read the blog? He sent me a link to his blog, and I read through it. And while I was reading it, he also sent me another link, and he was like, I'm sure you've seen this already. And it was it being added to Unearthed Radio. And I was like, hang on, what the fuck is going on?
So is this
here?
Before it was on Unearthed? Or
No, so this is after I put it on Unearthed. It takes about 2 weeks for it to actually get through their process. And so about a week and a half, 2 weeks after I'd put it on Unearthed, that's when Tommy messaged me and let me know that it went onto the Unearthed Radio. Yep. So it was in that rotation of songs that went on. And then like 2 weeks after that, out of the blue, on Unearthed Radio, so on the portal, I was getting reviews from DJs and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then about 2 weeks after that, I got a Triple J DJ hit me up being like, yo, playing at 9 o'clock tonight. And fucking wild hearing it on the radio. It was nuts.
That is fucking huge.
Yeah, man. It's just because, like, again, the professional quality, it was passing hands, so it had its own traction, and it bangs.
Yeah. It did. It had, like, velocity. Everywhere I was kind of looking on socials, people that I don't interact with, people that you don't even interact with, you know, we're seeing it, you know, because it's an incredible song, and that kind of comes down to, like, our underlying goal for Anarchy. It's like when you make a really great product, everything that happens after that is so much easier.
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
And the song like Ferris, honestly, it just infects your brain.
Yeah,
it is so good.
It's like, an earworm for sure.
Could not stop, especially like that lick as well. You know, like I just could not get it out of my head, which is an awesome problem to have. So as like you started to kind of get a little bit of, you know, feedback and exposure and stuff like that, and now from pretty important people, especially in like the Australian music scene, what was that feeling like? Because from what I'm gathering, it's like you kind of, although music is something that's always been underlying like a motivator for you, it's not something you kind of put all your eggs in one basket and said, music is it, So like for something to kind of come along somewhat naturally, lots of work involved, but somewhat naturally, what is this kind of response like for you?
It was completely surreal. That night that Tommy Faith had written about me on his blog, and then I found out that it got added to Unearthed Radio. I wasn't really that familiar with the Unearthed process, so as soon as I saw that it got added onto there, I kind of was thinking that it was on Triple J.
Yeah.
And I was like pacing around the kitchen, like didn't know what the fuck to do with myself, man. Like my housemate was kind of like, "Oh, like sit down, you need to breathe," and I was just like, "What is going on?" Like people have this song, it keeps going all these crazy places. I never thought it would, so it was completely surreal. It took a while for me to kind of come to grips with like what the song was doing. And then again, like when I got the message from the Triple J DJ, same thing again. Like I just was lost for words. I was just sitting there looking at my phone like, holy shit, this is it. This is what you
fuel up the jet.
About
Let's go.
and it's going. It's doing it. Yeah, very,
Wow.
very, very surreal. Very surreal. And that kind of was the moment that, because you're right. I think a lot of people do kind of approach music as in like, you don't put all your eggs in that one basket, because it's like, everything. As soon as you tell anybody you're making music, they're like, oh, that's a saturated industry. Like
that's
how
a
are you gonna
nice
do
hobby.
that? Yeah. And but that getting those props definitely made me go like, all right, I think that I'd be foolish not to continue down this path.
Yeah, of
and
course.
put a lot more into it as well.
You've just recently had, funnily enough, they were talking about you being on Triple J, one of the biggest kind of music people in Australia, kind of writing a blog post about your first major song, your first professionally recorded song. And this has all happened before you even had a single live performance.
Yeah, no. I think the most people that I perform to, like, I've done a couple of those moments where you like spit a couple of bars at a party, like 10 people at the end of the night listening to you, and they're like, yeah, bro, you fucking sick. But that, like, I've not done any kind of like actual live performance. Like, even recording that track in the studio just in front of Scott was like fucking crazy to me. It was completely nerve-wracking, and that's been what I guess my biggest fear the whole time making music was knowing that moment was coming, because I hated public speaking. I mean, I still do. Yeah. It was just, I would just rather not think about it. I just kept putting it off, not thinking about it. So, yeah.
So when you're about to do something like that's nerve-wracking and it goes against every kind of natural instinct you have, what is running through your mind? And what are the kind of things you say to yourself to kind of just, realize just to get the fuck over it and do it,
Well, so performing the other night, doing that performance, I was quite nervous about it because I'd just gotten over a sickness. So I had a pretty bad sinus infection a couple of weeks before that performance, and I wasn't able to rehearse as much as I would have liked. So I didn't rehearse as much because I knew my voice was already compromised. So I didn't want to push it to the point that I broke it before the actual performance. So a lot of my rehearsing was just making sure the lyrics were really, really tight. Like even under that pressure, I wasn't going to forget lyrics, because I think that that's maybe one of the biggest concerns for an artist is like that brain fart moment where your song starts and you're like,
yeah,
fuck, like how does it go?
You're frozen.
Yeah, so I really hammered down on lyrics, and I really held off on like the vocal performance, even to the point where like the day before I had like my final rehearsal kind of thing, and my voice was breaking on all the high notes of Ferris. So I was like having mad blood. I was like,
they're the fucking worst.
Horrible, man.
Yeah.
Horrible. Even on the sound check, the day of the performance, I had those breaks, and I just kind of had to say to myself, like, dude, you're here. People love the song. They hear what the performance can be. Your voice is probably going to break, and it is what it is. I just had to get to that point where I was like, if it happens, it's going to happen. There's not a lot you can do about it. So in the actual build up to that performance, I was shitting myself because I was like, fuck, my voice is going to break. I'm going to look like a fucking idiot. And, you know, amazingly, the performance was one of the best performances that I've delivered of the track, which is crazy. But that was definitely made it a lot harder for me before that first performance because of that added pressure. And I was putting that pressure on myself. And, yeah, like what you're saying, what the thoughts that get you through in the end, you know, I'm sure you saw me before the performance. I was pacing around everywhere, like non-stop movement. I was absolutely shitting myself, but I was kind of just like talking myself up. I was like, this is what you wanted, man. I'm like, you put yourself here. You wanted this. You want people to hear your music. You've said, and I've said from the start, because of that professional quality barrier that you can have, I've always said, as soon as I start doing live performances and people see the real passion, they can't deny that. The recording might sound like shit, but they can't deny somebody actually loving the performance that they're giving. And so I was saying that to myself too. I'm like, you said, as soon as you start performing live, this is where people are really going to start following you because they're going to see that you really do love this. And so, you know, the build up to the performance, I was out on the street pacing around saying that shit like, you fucking got this. This is you. These people are here. You got people here come to see you. This is what you wanted from the start. You knew this was coming. You're ready. I'm like, even if you don't feel ready, you're ready. And you're never going to be ready for this moment. You just got to do it.
Yeah.
And it's the first one. I was like, you're okay. It's okay to fuck up. And I didn't. It was amazing.
Smashed it. It was magic. Honestly, it was magic. When I first walked into the complex, I saw you pacing out the front. I swear I could see the fucking adrenaline steaming out of your ears, bro.
It's a weird
I'm so fine.
feeling, man.
I'm so fine, but you were fucking on another level.
Yeah,
Mad
dude.
respect though, because I was like, literally, my palms were sweaty. I had vomit on my like sweater already just watching you.
Mom, spaghetti.
Literally, man. But it was absolutely incredible. Like, we got lots of incredible footage. You can find it on V.BLVQ's Instagram page.
I'll be putting more of that up too.
Definitely share that with the world. The world needs to see it. So I think we're getting about that time where we want to start wrapping it up. So why don't you share with us, you know, where V.BLVQ's going, where your dreams are currently? Because I know if you're anything like me, your dreams are different from week to week. So where do you see yourself going? Like 2021's already been a massive year for you. So where are you taking it? You know, biggest dreams. Lay it on us.
Well, so ultimately the dream for me is financial freedom. I want to be able to make money doing what I love as opposed to what I have to do. So, you know, getting to the point that I can look after myself and my family and my girlfriend, so they don't have to work either. I can put everybody in a cozy situation, and I can just, you know, cruise. That's what I want. I want to be able to do what I want when I want. That's when you're gonna get the best work out of anybody, is when they're actually free. So that is the end goal, just to get that freedom. So to get there, this year I've kind of conformed myself to not thinking too far ahead anymore. So I've said that I'm doing the 12 tracks this year. So this year, that's where my head's at, is getting these 12 out, because it is a bit of a task. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I could come in here and make 12 songs that I've made in the past, and that would be a very easy way of doing it. But I don't want to do that, because this is going to be a massive year of growth for me, and I want to present that in the music as well. So where I can fall back on something if I need to, I definitely am trying to leave as many of these tracks open for fresh ideas and new stuff. So it is a lot of work. It is going to be a lot of work for the year, because I want to evolve it as the year evolves as well. That means you can't plan too far ahead, because everything's changing all the time. So getting the 12 out this year, 12 quality tracks out this year, increasing the level of promotion and resources that I can put into each one as we go as well. So like personally, I think some people might disagree. They might like the promotion for Ferris more, but the promotion that I'm doing for Lil Thicky is probably my favorite so far. Yeah. I just feel like it's a bit cleaner. I've got some newer ideas coming out with it as well that we haven't quite got to yet.
So what is that promotion? Just give a visual for everyone listening at the moment.
So the promotion is kind of similar to Ferris's in every day. I've been posting a photo to build up to it. And now, because it's the third time that this has happened this year, people are understanding that these series of photos are something coming out, which is it's works in my favor as well because now people know what to expect.
Yeah.
But the thing that I like more about this one is it's quite close to home. So it's a pretty, I'm not an original idea, but I definitely saw how this one was going to be a lot earlier into the process where Ferris kind of all came together nicely in the moment. This one, I had more of an idea of what I wanted it to be. And it's just me and my partner have created this one, whereas with Gorilla Glue and Ferris, we had some outside help. So this one's just us. And it's just cleaner, like more photos as opposed to just having one still. Now we got like a series that comes out each time and we got some video that's coming as well. So it just feels cleaner, closer to home because it's just us as well. And like because we didn't have outside help, it's made me work harder on it. And I think that's why I like it more. It's a bit more of like my little baby.
Yeah. Well, I'm very, very excited to hear that song professionally mastered because live it was absolutely spectacular. So
it's good. I'm very excited.
Real quick, before we say our goodbyes, what would you say to, you know, the 16-year-old boy or however old they are under the doona in their room trying to lay down bars in GarageBand? What would you say to them, you know, based on what you've kind of uncovered?
I would say trust the process 100%. Like it's so easy to compare yourself to people that are ahead of you or people around you on your level that have more resources than you. But good music speaks for itself. So you've got to grind to get that professional quality that you can put onto professional streaming services, Spotify, Apple Music. And sometimes that might be at a higher cost. Network, find yourself some good people around you who have positions in places like that because it really, really helps. And trust the process. Good music speaks for itself. You can hear it in the radio, you can hear it in all the trending music right now. Everything is the same. Everything is washed out and it's not going to last. So just stay true to you and just keep pushing and it's going to work. But you do need to put in a little bit of that extra work to get to that higher level of quality, sound quality. And that makes all the difference because it just, when somebody hears your track for the first time and it doesn't have that quality, they're not going to listen to the whole thing. And that can be the difference between them sharing it to somebody else or just stopping it 30 seconds in.
Wow. Yes. Absolute gems all day long. This has been absolutely incredible. Give us a plug. I know you've got a new song coming out. Plug it here. Where can our audience find you?
31st of March. This says next Wednesday. Little Thicky is dropping. If you head to my Instagram, that is easily the place that I'm the most active. So that's V.BLVQ on Instagram. You'll find the pre-save link if you're listening to this before Wednesday the 31st. Jump on that pre-save. Come support your boy. It helps me get onto the much bigger editorial playlist of Spotify, which is fucking game-changing. So get on that pre-save. If you're listening to it after that date, just go smash that track. You will like it. Especially if you got a special lady or a special, you know, it's applicable to everybody, really. It's just...
Even if you love yourself.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, go onto that. Instagram is definitely where I'm more active. It's where I'm communicating with a lot more people on a regular basis too. So that's the best place to follow me. But you can find me on YouTube, Facebook under the same handle, and obviously Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Pandora, whatever you're on, it's all there. V.BLVQ.
And for everyone is interested in like making it in the music industry or you're an upcoming artist, reach out to this man because he is genuinely a very, very nice guy. He will help you in every way he possibly can. So definitely send him a message. You know, it really does mean a lot, you know, when people reach out in admiration and stuff like that. So thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it. This is the first episode of Before the Money. I think we're kicking it off on a fucking very, very high note. So thank you very much. Make sure you comment or you like if you're listening on YouTube, or like and subscribe if you are listening on podcasts. So thank you very much, brother.
Thank you. Oh, perfect timing. Look at that.
Peace.
Fuck yeah, nailed it. Nice work, man.